Next on CBS 8 News Live at 5, it is day 2 of the Genesis Invitational at Torrey Pines. Jake is live with the highlights, and the tariffs are here. So how much is that new IPA going to cost you? We check in with local breweries, plus City Farmers is at the top of the list for Best Plant Nursery. CBS 8's Alex Lai shows us why. The news start right now.
This is CBS 8 News Live at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Keristen Holmes. Tonight, we're getting an update on that fighter jet that crashed into the San Diego Bay earlier this week. Earlier today, a barge and a crane, you see them there, they arrived near the crash scene. Now, these are critical pieces needed to recover the aircraft from that water. But listen to this. The U.S. Navy says this whole process could take up to 2 weeks. Meanwhile, today, the U.S. Navy tells us the 2 air crew that were on the jet are now out of the hospital. They stayed for a 24-hour medical evaluation. The pilot and naval flight officer are assigned to the Electronic Attack Squadron. They were able to eject safely before that crash. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. All right, it was a rainy start to the Valentine's Day weekend, if the weekend started on Thursday like it did for a lot of people. Let's check in with meteorologist Sean Stiles right now to see what we have in store for the rest of the evening. Hey, Sean.
Good evening, Kirsten. Yeah, that Valentine's Day lucked out because it dried out very quickly. As we look outside right now, a beautiful evening in San Diego. A few stratus clouds moving on by. That's making for a great sunset. You mentioned the rainfall. Take a look at some of these totals. 69, 64 for President's Day, as well as on Tuesday, and the same goes for you folks in the inland microclimates. I got to tell you though, stick around for that 7-day forecast because you're really going to like the long-range models. Kirsten?
Thank you, Sean. All right, now we got to get an update on our craft beer scene. You know, San Diego is home to a lot of local breweries, but new tariffs could apply some pressure. A trade group representing craft breweries warns that President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum, well, they say those are going to hurt big time. CBS 8's Elizabeth Sanchez is on our top story tonight. She's talking with a local small brewery that says they're pretty worried.
California has the most craft breweries in the country, and a lot of them are right here in San Diego. But the tariffs being imposed could really hurt places like Original 40 here in North Park. And it's not just beer cans, it's also soda cans. Many people are calling for exemptions or trade agreements to help mitigate the effects. Elizabeth Sanchez, CBS 8.
Thank you, Elizabeth. On Friday, President Trump talked about his plans to impose a new auto tariff on U.S. trade partners starting in April. This comes in addition to the reciprocal tariffs proposed this week that would raise U.S. import taxes to match those levied by other countries. A lot of economists say that could reshape global trade and make a range of goods more expensive for Americans to buy.
This will send shockwaves through the world economy, and that's before you price in the fact that other countries will feel need to retaliate.
The president also signed an executive order that cuts federal funding for schools that require COVID vaccines, although no states have mandates currently in effect.